It's on my class. It's on my phone.
Shalom, Israel, with I.S.U.P.K, Israelite School Universal Practical Knowledge. I am Preaching Officer 500 Adar Moth, and tonight is Wednesday. Of course, you know how we get down on Wednesday. It's the law class. The law class. Teaching how important it is to know the law and also keep the law according to the Bible, according to the scriptures. You understand? Throughout time, it's like it. Yes, throughout time, since the Bible has been established, the law has always been in place. The law has been so impeccable and very important to the tribes of Israel, to the nation of Israel. You understand? But somehow we end up losing that. Okay, we end up losing the law, and because of Christianity has perverted the law. You understand? Because of Christianity, the law is not as important. You understand? The scriptures aren't as important, especially when it comes to blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. You understand? We just keep going with what our oppressors say. But at the same time, our oppressors have studied our scriptures. Our oppressor has studied us. Our oppressor has studied our law. As a matter of fact, our oppressor uses our scriptures and uses our laws to edify himself. He uses our teachings to help him solidify himself, to help him rule over us, to continue his rulership over blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. But what if our people were taught the law? What if our people were taught the scriptures? What if they were taught these scriptures and the law from the beginning? What if they were taught that, as opposed to learning it? It's opposed to learning it, some 20, 30 odd years later. Just think about that. What if you knew that Christ was black coming up? What if you knew that you shouldn't eat pork, shrimp, crab, and lobster? That's a law in the scriptures. What if you knew that? You understand? We hear so much, especially through black families, how diabetes and heart conditions are hereditary. But that's only because we've been passing down. You understand? We've been passing down those transgressions. That's why it comes off as being hereditary. But again, what if we were taught this from the beginning? We would be in a much better state of mind, in a better position on this earth and in society. You understand? So with that, let's go to these scriptures. We got anybody on the conference call? No sweat. Officer Barack, if you could, let's go to one of my favorite books. Let's go to the book of Proverbs. Book of Proverbs, chapter 9, verse 9, if you could.
Come. Proverbs 9, verse 9. Give instruction to a wise man, and he will be yet wiser.
All right. This is what the I.S.U.P.K under Commander Junior Yahanna started out 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, is here to do. When you see us out on the streets, when you hear us in classes, when it comes to the feast, this is what we're trying to do throughout the earth. You understand? Throughout our communities, we are trying to give instructions to wise men so that they can be wiser. So they can be wiser, man. They can have more knowledge. And you've heard the cliche that knowledge is power. If you have this knowledge, you will have this power. If you will have this instruction, you will be wise. You understand? And keeping the law, knowing the law, and being able to teach it will make you wise. Continue.
Come. Teach a just man, and he will increase in learning.
All right. So you teach a just man, he will increase in learning. Again, teaching blacks, Hispanics, Native Indians these scriptures, teaching them the law. This is what we're trying to do. We're trying to increase their learning, increase their knowledge, and increase their power. And when you do that, not only do you increase their understanding, you can increase their rulership on this earth. With that, you can convince the Most High to send our King Yahushua back to this earth, finally, to reign justice on this earth. But it starts with the law. It starts with teaching law and following. You understand? All right. Let's go to continue on verse 10, please.
The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom.
Again, the fear of the Lord. What does it mean to have fear for the Lord? Officer Barak?
We follow the law, statutes, commandments.
Absolutely. Following the law, statutes, and commandments. Having the fear of the Lord, man. Doing what he instructed you to do from the jump. If you could do that, and again, what is that saying? It is beginning of wisdom. Going back to teaching this, having the knowledge, having the understanding. All right? Continue on.
And the knowledge of the holy is understanding.
And the knowledge of the holy is understanding. And we always teach that what does holy mean? Holy means separate. If you have this knowledge, black man, Hispanic man, Native Indian man, the ones who are to be separated from all other people on this earth, you will have this understanding. You will have an understanding of these scriptures. You will have an understanding of how Christ moves. You will have an understanding of how the Most High moves. You understand? Because let's also think of this. And again, going back to what we were taught when we were in that Christian world, not knowing the laws. Just think about that. Barak, if I could, what were some of the things that you were taught? What were some of the things that you were taught when it came to Christianity?
You taught that Sunday is more of the holy day.
All right.
That's when you go to church. You know what I mean. Liquor stores closed at that time. You know what I'm saying. You don't do certain things on that Sunday.
Right. But we know. But okay. So that's something right there. You were taught that you're supposed to worship, worship the Most High, or worship Christ on Sunday. But we learned in the scriptures that the Sabbath is actually on Saturday, and we're not supposed to be worshiping Christ, because we learned that Christ was not God, right? We learned that we're supposed to give back for the Most High. You understand? We do give honor, we give respect to our King Yahushua, of course, but all in all, it is for the Most High. And again, we have to come back and follow these laws, statutes, and commandments. So again, we just read that the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, and the knowledge of the holy is understanding. It's understanding, man. As a matter of fact, keep going with that too, because it will explain why you should have the fear of the Lord, why you can have what this understanding can do for you.
Verse 11. For by me thy days shall be multiplied.
For by me thy days shall be multiplied. Not following these laws, statutes, and commandments has shortened the life of the black man. It has shortened the life of the Hispanic man and the Native Indian man. You understand? And how is that? The scriptures are supporting this. How is that? Have you heard in the black communities how brothers say, like, you know, they hope that they live to see 25?
Gonna come.
You've heard that. I hope I live to see 25. Some brothers and sisters don't even live to see their 21st birthday. Or they don't even get to see, you know, we don't focus on the birthdays, but they don't even get to attend their high school graduation.
Right.
They can't even live to get their license because they weren't taught to follow after these laws. Brothers and sisters are being killed in the streets because they're robbing people. They're being killed in the streets because they're killing people. They're killing their own people, right? But what else are they doing? They're robbing people. They're killing their own people. They're stealing from them. And when I say stealing, I'm talking about like how we hear in our music, Mr. Steal Your Girl, whatnot.
Right.
You understand? And that's so detrimental to our community. But again, that's in our laws. To not commit adultery, to not commit fornication, to not take another man's rib, to not go with other nations. Those are in our laws. And it's there to help us. You understand? It's there to help us, man. But because of Christianity, the laws don't matter. The laws don't matter. And because the consequences aren't immediate. Now the church can say that, oh, the law is done away with. The law is done away with. Christ came and he did look away with the law. But it doesn't make any sense. Not at all. Because if the law was done away with, why isn't it okay to commit murder now? Why is there a law still against committing murder? Why are brothers still going to jail for 25 to life, serving double life sentences? The law was done away with. Why is it not okay still to rob, to steal? You understand? The law is put in place for our protection. Protection from ourselves and protection from these other nations. But let's get into these scriptures. Let's get some more to see how important it is to know these scriptures, and also how our oppressor has used these scriptures against us. All right. So if we could, let's go to Proverbs 10:1 real quick.
Come. Proverbs 10 verse 1, the Proverbs of Solomon. A wise son maketh a glad father.
Salaki, my apologies. We'll stick with that. So a wise son makes a glad father. So like if I'm skipping off topic real quick, I can move to this. A wise son maketh a glad father. Now, our topic today is teaching the law can save a nation, but also teaching the law can build a nation as well. All right. So now, when we see this in Proverbs 10:1, a wise son maketh a glad father. All right. And now let's put ourselves in this. Let's put ourselves further into these scriptures. How we say that we're a child of God, we're a child of the Most High. The Most High is our Father, and we are that child, and we should be wise because we want to make Him proud of us. We want to make Him glad, right? If we make Him glad, He can what? He'll smile on us, and he will bless us. He'll give us rulership. He'll give us life. He'll provide for us. But when we read further down, what else do we see?
But a foolish son is the heaviness of his mother.
The foolish son, the heaviness of his mother. Now, bring it back down to earth. We have our mother, who is the helpmate of our father, supporting him, and helping to establish the law of the house. Correct?
Come.
She helps establish the laws of the house. So when the law of the house, that you have a certain curfew that you got to make. Law of the house is you got certain chores to do around the house. Law of the house is you got to eat those certain vegetables that you didn't want to eat. Take out the trash. Go to bed on time. Get good grades. You understand? You're supposed to be following the law of the house, man. But now, suddenly, that son, that daughter, is not doing that. And make the house look bad. You make your father is going to have that, is not going to be proud of you. Your mother's going to be emotional and it's going to have that heaviness. Why? Because we're not following the laws, man. We're not following after what we're being taught. And when you don't follow what you're being taught, you get in trouble. You get in trouble, you're not blessed. You understand? And you can fall into a very dark place. Whether it's death, hell, or just not being right. Just not being right in the mind, man. Let's select you. Let's stay in Proverbs. Let's go to Proverbs 22 and 6. 22 and 6.
Proverbs 22, verse 6.
Mm-hmm. No sweat.
Proverbs 22 and 6. Train up a child in the way he should go.
All right.
And when he is old, he will not depart from it.
Okay, so train up a child in the way he should go. And when he is old, he will not depart from it. Now earlier, we spoke on how our oppressor has studied us and studied our scriptures and has used that to his benefit. Right? Okay, so now read this again.
Train up a child in the way he should go.
Okay, stop there. So now train up a child in the way that he should go. We hear many times that love is an action. We also hear that hate is an action. We hear about how people are taught to hate. Elvis Brock, have you heard that before? You heard that people are taught to hate. Okay, so now, with that being said, can you think of any people on earth specifically that have been taught to hate?
Go
ahead.
Our oppressor.
Our oppressor, absolutely. And specifically, the Ku Klux Klan. Right? The Ku Klux Klan. They teach their children to hate. They teach their children to hate. But not only that, with that hate, they teach that it's okay to cause physical harm and even kill for entertainment when it comes to blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. Right? They've been taught that. From the womb, they have been taught absolute separation and dominance. over blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. Now, that being said, what are we taught coming up as children? What have we been taught?
To love everybody.
To love everybody. We're taught to love everybody. And the scripture says, when he is old, he will not depart from it. There are blacks, Hispanics, Native Indians, especially from the old school, in that civil rights movement, right? Civil rights movement. Those people, when they were younger, they were taught to love everybody. Is that correct? They were taught to love everybody. And even when they saw the hate and the malice and the violence firsthand from their oppressor, they saw that firsthand, how much he hated them, how much he wanted to kill them. They saw firsthand how much their oppressor wanted to keep them in chains and keep them on the bottom. And yet, they loved them. You understand? Yet they loved them. No matter how much the oppressor spat in their face, hit them with water hoses, sought dogs on them, burned their houses, they still loved the oppressor. They still wanted to eat in his restaurants. They still wanted to drink from his water fountains. They still wanted to use his bathrooms. They still loved him. You understand? Look at somebody like Al Sharpton, a brother who was on the front lines, and he is still in bed with the oppressor. And how old is Al Sharpton?
He should be in his 70s at least.
In his 70s. And what does Scripture say?
Train up a child in the way he should go. And when he is old, he will not depart from it.
He will not depart from it. Al Sharpton has not departed from that. He hasn't. But the Scripture says, train up a child in the way that he should go. Train up a child in the way that he should go, and he will not depart from it. So let's just think. Now, if blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians were trained in the way that they should have gone, you understand? What if they were trained from the jump as children to love each other? We were always taught how whites or how our oppressors were good people, despite all the hell they put us through. We were always taught that they still could love us. And we were taught that if we loved them, that we could get a seat in heaven. That's right?
Right.
We were taught that illusion as a child. As a child. And so now, when you grow up with that, you know how hard it is to break from that?
Very.
You know how hard it is to break from that now? Understand? And guess what else? Our oppressor knows just how hard it is to break a child from what he has learned, from what she has learned. And that's why our oppressor now floods our TV shows, floods our movies, even children's cartoons with what? Alternative lifestyles. Have you seen that?
Come.
He is flooding the airwaves with alternative lifestyles. Why? Because he knows that if you train up a child in the way they should go, when they get old, they won't depart from it. And when they won't depart from it, why? Because it is normal. It's just a part of life. You understand? Back then, what was it? What we're in 2020? We're 2022. Back in the 70s and 80s, having being part of an alternative lifestyle was a mental disease.
Right.
You remember that? It was a mental disease. But now, some 30, 40 plus years later, it's normal. They're trying to normalize that. And how are they doing that? They're starting with the children. They're starting with the children, man. Let's read that again. Oh, somebody said Salakia? Hey, how about you? Shalom on Christ, brother. You good? Absolutely, absolutely. Alright. Well, if you ain't got a comment or question, just go ahead and put your phone on mute. And we'll get back, we'll go ahead and rock out.
Proverbs 22, verse 6. Train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Train up a child in the way that they should go. And here's something else. We talked about how the I.S.U.P.K community is trying to normalize their alternative lifestyles. What else do we see that's trying to be normalized? We see how our little girls now, it's normal for them to dress provocative. You understand? Wearing real tight, short dresses and skirts. And they're doing this as children. Our little girls go to the beach in two-piece bikinis.
Right.
You understand? So then when they get older, it's nothing for them to go out in public in their underwear. Why? Because they were trained as a child that this is normal. You understand? But coming into the truth, you will know that it is not, that it should not be normal. And it should not be accepted. You understand? It should not be accepted. And our people need correction for that. They need correction. They need that tough love. But understand that the tough love is to make you better. It's always to make you better. You have to understand the spirit that we're coming in as well. Yes, we're going to be a little harsh. Yes, we're going to be tough. We're going to be strong. Because that's who the Most High's people are. His people are strong. His men are masculine, and his women are feminine. They play their roles. You understand? So with that, let's go to let's stay in Proverbs. Like I said, this is one of my favorite books. Let's go to Proverbs 23 and 13.
Proverbs 23 verse 13. Withhold not correction from the child.
Withhold not correction from the child. Like we said, our little girls dressing like adults in their underwear. Our children have to be corrected by that. Our little boys playing house and doing adult things with other little boys. No, man, I'm not gonna tolerate that. We will correct it. We will correct it because we understand that if you don't correct it now, it's gonna be very hard. It's gonna be very hard to correct it as he gets older, as that child gets older. Why? Because they've been taught this for so long. It's just as simple as if I try to tell Officer Barack that 2 plus 2 is 5. Officer Barack is not gonna agree with me. Right. Because he knows that 2 plus 2 is 4. He's been taught this all his life. He's seen that. You understand? He knows what it is. This is what he's been taught. But now when you try to change that, you try to change that norm, it becomes very hard. It becomes very hard, man. Just like when we try to teach our people that pork, shrimp, crab, and lobster, and catfish, bottom feeders, are not good for you. They're not good for you. But what do our people say? They say, oh man, well it tastes good though, it's slamming. And yes, blacks, Hispanics, Native Indians can, I believe they're the only people who can make heaven out of hell. They're the only ones who can do that. Black people were fed abominations through slavery. And somehow they made it taste good for themselves so they could digest it. Because they felt they had no other alternative to eat. And because they did that for so many years and they taught their children that, what happens? Now it's a normal thing. It's so normal that the joke about not eating pork as a black man can almost revoke your black card, right, Barack?
Right.
And like it's so weird now. Like if you hear like a black man does not eat pork or crab, they start asking them, man, where you from? Or what you want? Mm-hmm. It's weird.
Go
ahead, brother.
Who's your wife? Who's your girl?
Absolutely.
Do you have a wife?
Absolutely. I know, man. I asked this Puerto Rican chick. I said, "Yo, man, you eat pork?" She said, "Of course." I was dumb for asking that kind of question. You understand? Because our people have been trained up, and they have not had this correction. They haven't had this correction, man. Read that again.
With Proverbs 23:13, withhold not correction from the child, for if thou beatest him with the rod, he shall not die.
All right. So now, training up a child, we hear about how withhold not correction from the child, for if thou beatest him with the rod, he will not die. Now this is something interesting because many Christians, especially in the black homes, will revert to this scripture and say how you need to spank your child if your child does wrong. That you have to beat it out of them. You understand? But you don't have to spank your child. And I can admit I've learned that. I don't have to spank my child. I don't have to beat my child. I can there are ways to correct a child's behavior without hitting them, without abusing them. Cause see, here's something else. That type of behavior from black parents, if you notice, is only in a black, Hispanic, and Native Indian community. Also, Brock, have you ever heard of an oppressor's child being spanked?
A lot.
Exactly. You've never heard of it. You never heard of it. If you see anything from another oppressor, like from let's say like an Asian oppressor, right? They have their trick is to flip their sandals and throw it at you.
Right.
You understand? But like there, you have never heard of like an oppressor, especially like the American oppressor, European oppressor, to hold down their child and find weapons and find special weapons to correct their behavior. You never heard of a European or American oppressor use a water hose to correct their child's behavior. You never heard of them using an extension cord to correct their behavior. Or what? What else, Barack?
Switch.
A switch, a switch, a tree limb, a belt. You don't hear about that. You don't hear about that. But what's the running joke? What's the running joke with the oppressors? How do they punish their children?
They put them in timeout.
Exactly. They put them in timeout. That's what they do. They put them in timeout. They make them face the corner and sit there for 5 to 10 minutes away from everybody else. That's their running joke. But blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians have been taught for generations to spank. They've been taught that. And where does that derive from? That derives from slavery. Its roots are in slavery. You understand? And we keep teaching our children this. And this is how we have to correct your behavior, as opposed to sitting down, having a conversation, explaining the wrong that you did and why you shouldn't do it. You understand? It's like with a child who wants to touch fire. You're gonna sit that child down and let them know, son, daughter, don't put your hands by the fire. You're gonna burn yourself. You're gonna hurt yourself. Are you gonna hurt that child more to show that they can hurt themselves? We have to be more logical when we raise our children. We have to be more logical. We have to be more spiritual, and also we have to be more scriptural as well. All right. Let's see. Read that again.
Withhold not correction from the child, for if thou beatest him with the rod, he shall not die.
All right. Here's a question. In the scripture, what is the rod? What is the rod? The rod is the law. The rod is the statutes and commandments. That's what our child needs. That will correct his behavior. Having these scriptures, knowing this law, this will correct his behavior. You understand? And read 14.
Verse 14. Thou shalt beat him with the rod, and shalt deliver his soul from hell.
From where?
From hell.
You shall deliver his soul from hell. We will deliver his soul from hell. If our little girls weren't taught from a young age to twerk and to dance and to dance provocatively in front of strangers, our sisters would not be in the hell right now that they suffer in the strip clubs. They would not be suffering, they would not be in the hell that they are in when they are prostituting themselves to feed themselves, to feed their children. You understand? If our children had these laws, Magic Johnson's son would not be the butterfly he is today. He would not be the lollipop he is today.
Right.
If he had these law, statutes, and commandments, man. Let's go to let's see. Let's go to another scripture. Let's go back. Still in Proverbs. Let's go to 22 and 15. If I could.
Proverbs 22 verse 15. Foolishness is bound in the heart of a child, but the rod of correction shall drive it far from him.
Foolishness is bound in the heart of the child. Our children don't know how to raise themselves. We heard Kanye West say, like, you ain't got the answers. You ain't got the answers. Our children do not have the answers. Foolishness is bound in their heart, man. All our children want to do is play. That's all they want to do. Our children just want to have fun. That's all they want. That's it. They want to have fun. But we as adults, we as parents have to let our children have fun, but with boundaries. You understand? And also, in this scripture, we are the Most High's children. The Most High wants us to have fun as well. The Most High wants us to have rulership in righteousness, but He will give us boundaries. He will give us boundaries that we cannot cross. You understand? That's why we say that we should not eat pork, shrimp, crab, lobster. You think that's fun? You think that's fun to eat food that is meant to clean the earth, food that is meant to clean the ocean? I had a conversation with a few brothers, and they say whenever they go to a seafood restaurant, I tend to mess their minds up because they think back to what I told them. And I told them how them eating shrimp, crab, and lobster, I said, you are eating bottom feeders. I said, you are eating creatures that are in the same family as roaches. That's what you're eating. You're eating sea roaches.
Right.
You're eating sea roaches. And it messes them up. But because how they've been trained as children, they said, well, it's all right. I just put a little butter on it. I put a little seasoning on it. And it's gonna be just fine. It's gonna taste good. It's gonna get that nasty thought out of my mind. You understand? But if you think about it, it doesn't make sense because the nastiness is still there. But our people they just want the sugar coating. They just want the sugar coating, man. So to make themselves feel better about the sins they're committing. But what does that scripture? What's the second part of that scripture say?
But the rod of correction shall drive it far from him.
And you know what? Read it from the beginning.
Foolishness is bound in the heart of a child.
Foolishness is bound in the heart of a child. Just as we said, most of our people know what they're eating, but they will sugarcoat it. They will sugarcoat their sins to make themselves feel better about it. Their foolishness is the thought that because they're not dying immediately, that it's okay to do. Because of the food, because when they eat these foods, they're not dying immediately, it's okay to eat. Because because the crimes that they commit in this society whether it be murder, robbing and stealing, or even taking another brother's rib, because you did not face exact and immediate punishment, that it's okay. And you can get away with it. That's foolishness. That is absolute, utter foolishness. But if we were taught these laws, statutes, and commandments as children, what was the second part? But if we were taught this from the beginning,
but the rod of correction shall drive it far from him.
Absolutely, the rod of correction will drive it from them. It will drive them from them, man. That's what we have to do. We have to instill these laws, statutes, and commandments in our children. We have to do this. All right. Let's go to Proverbs 29, chapter 29, verse 17.
Proverbs 29, verse 17.
Mm-hmm.
Correct thy son.
Ooh, what?
Correct thy son.
One more time.
Correct thy son.
Uh-huh.
And he shall give thee rest.
All right, hold on. Correct thy son, and he shall give thee rest. If you can have your son and your daughter follow your instructions in the house, right? Say like something simple as, if your son can take out the trash every Thursday, right?
Right.
You're gonna have rest from that, because you know that he'll make trash day, because you paid for that. You understand? Or if you know that if you can believe in your son that he can cut the grass for you, it will give you rest, because when you came from that long day at work, the grass is already cut. You don't have to go out there. You don't have to go out there and slave more. Correction is love, man. Correction is love, and correction is also instruction. You understand? And also, when you correct your son's behavior as a child, when he wants to play with dolls, he wants to play with little girl dolls, he wants to try to put on makeup. Hey, Officer Broad, did you ever hear of some brothers when they were coming up as children, they used to play in their mother's closet?
Come.
And try on their heels.
Come.
And what happened? That behavior was not corrected. That behavior was not corrected, man. And what happened? What happened? That they were not corrected. They were not corrected. And what happened? Now we get Magic Johnson's son. Now we get Dwayne Wade's son. You understand? Because that behavior is not corrected. And so now you're not going to have any rest. You're not going to have any rest. That behavior is not corrected. Dwayne Wade cannot relish in the fact that he's going to have a grandson. Magic Johnson won't either. You understand? Magic Johnson, because Magic Johnson wants to keep his money, guess what? Magic Johnson cannot correct his son's behavior. He cannot tell his son, I raised you to be a man. I raised you to wear boots. You understand? Baggy pants. I didn't raise you to wear makeup. I didn't raise you to wear dresses and high heel shoes. He can't do that now. He can't do that. Why? Because he won't have the rest and the peace of mind knowing he'll still be rich. Because if he corrects his son's behavior, what happens? He will lose his endorsements. He will lose his endorsements. He will lose his popularity. He will lose his nobility in this society. But we in the truth know that when we correct our children's behavior, we can also ensure that there will be less criminals in this earth. You understand? We can be rest assured that we're not going to have brothers trying to break into houses and steal it. We can be rest assured that we're not going to have brothers stealing cars or scamming people's credit cards. We can rest assured that we're not going to have our daughters stripping in the clubs,
right,
or prostituting themselves. We can be rest assured with that. And we can also rest assured that they will work to find a proper mate. A proper mate so that they can have children with. Remember now I said proper mate. Proper mate. They're gonna have a proper mate. That son will find a righteous sister. That daughter will find a righteous man and have children with them. You understand?
right.
And they will teach their children, who will teach their children the law, statutes, and commandments of the Bible, of the Most High. That's what we can be rest assured with. But people in the world, they don't have that peace of mind. They don't have that peace of mind at all because they did not follow after these scriptures. They did not. There was no real plan. They just let them do what they wanted to do. You understand? And continue on with that.
And he shall give thee rest.
Mm-hmm.
Yea, he shall give delight unto thy soul.
All right, keep going.
Verse 18, where there is no vision, the people perish.
Okay, where there is no vision, the people perish. Where there is no vision. We read earlier about how foolishness is bound in the heart of a child. And here we see where there is no vision, the people perish. Our children don't have that vision. Because why? They're just here for pleasure. They just want to play around. That's all they want to do. They just want to have fun. There's no vision. There's nothing. There's no vision past that. There's no plan past that. It's all day to day. It's hour to hour. What kind of fun can I have right now? What kind of fun can I have? And our people, Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, have fallen into that trap as well, because that's what they were taught as children. That's what they were taught, man. They were taught. They weren't really taught to have a vision of what these scriptures can do for them. You understand? They weren't taught about the righteousness. They weren't taught these law, statutes, and commandments. They weren't taught the law. And now, because we weren't taught this, because we did not have that vision, we didn't have that plan, we didn't have those leaders, our people are perishing now. Our people are dying in the streets. Whenever we hear, now it's almost become normal now. Whenever we hear about a police shooting, we just know that it was one of our people. And now we have to believe that they must have did something bad. It must have been trying to rob somebody, steal something. You understand? It's become so normal now because our people don't have the vision of life when it comes to these scriptures. They think that keeping these laws is just such a hard thing to do, and it's so harsh. When you tell Blacks, Hispanics, Native Indians to not eat pork, shrimp, crab, and lobster, all of a sudden now it's like, I don't know. I don't know if I can do that. I don't know. I don't know, man. That's kind of, it's gonna be kind of hard, man. It's a decision. Like, I don't know. When you tell them to stop smoking cigarettes, stop smoking weed. I don't know. I don't know. But then what happens? You're dying from that. You're killing yourself. You understand? And when you try to give them that correction, because foolishness is bound in their hearts, they get upset. They get upset. I had a brother on my slavery. We were about to go put in some work, but he wanted to smoke. I said, okay. I said, well, hey, I said, when you're done killing yourself, I said, we got work to do. Man, that brother was so livid. He was so livid. He threw the cigarette down and ran after me. Like, man, what you mean? What you talking about? I'm killing myself. What you mean? What you mean? What I mean? Brother, you're killing yourself. You're killing yourself by smoking these cigarettes. But he said, man, I'm in better shape than you. Okay. So what? You're in better shape right now. Physically, you're better. You're strong. You might be stronger than me. But what about your lungs, though? What about your lungs? If we ran a long distance and everything, you're gonna tap out. And eventually, you're gonna die from that. There's even a sign on the box that says that you can die from this. Is that correct? You can die from this. But yet our people still want to do it. Because they sugarcoat their sins to make themselves feel better. They'll say how stressed out they are. And how they need this, how they need the smoke to get away from things. So it sounds like you're trying to fool yourself. It's a delusion. You understand? And most of these people, the people who eat pork, shrimp, crab, and lobster, that smoke cigarettes, they've been doing this since they were a child. They've been doing it since they were children. So now what happens? You try to correct their behavior. It's very hard to do because they're so established in it, man. They're so established with it. It's hard to turn back, man. But let's continue on reading the second part.
But he that keepeth the law, he is happy.
But he that keepeth the law, happy is he. So now, if as a child, if you were told to not eat pork, shrimp, crab, and lobster, you were told not to smoke cigarettes. You were told not to live an alternative lifestyle. Because you've been trained in this righteousness, your life is going to be happy. Your life is going to be peaceful. You understand? It says, he that keepeth the law, happy is he. But our people who don't keep the law, they are miserable inside. They're miserable inside. They're miserable and they are confused. They are confused, man. How we said, man, they haven't been taught these scriptures. Haven't been taught these scriptures from when they were younger, man. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, I
Hey, how about some shop brother? How you doing?
I'm doing tomorrow, about one. How you doing?
I'm all right, brother. I'm all right, man.
Shalak out of one, if I may. What scripture was that you just pulled?
We just pulled Proverbs 29, 17 through 18.
Proverbs 29, 17. Oh, come.
No sweat. No sweat. All right, now if we could, just to show how much like the scriptures are so like how the scriptures prove this point about how we should teach our children the law. Let's go to Deuteronomy. Let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 6. Deuteronomy chapter 6. Just start me off at verse 6, please.
Deuteronomy 6, verse 6. And these words which I command thee this day shall be in thine heart. Verse 7. And thou shalt teach them diligently unto thy children.
Unto who?
Unto thy children.
Unto who?
Unto thy children. And shalt talk of them when thou sittest in thy house.
Okay. This is what we've been commanded to do. We have been commanded to teach our children the ways of the Most High, the laws, statutes, and commandments. It's right here in these scriptures. This is what you're supposed to teach your child. Teach him how he's not supposed to eat shrimp, pork, crab, lobster. Teach him how he's not supposed to smoke cigarettes. Teach him how he's not supposed to, he or she are not supposed to live an alternative lifestyle. You understand? Teach our daughters that they should grow up to be the wife of one man. Teach our sons that yes, you can have multiple ribs, multiple wives, that you will love and take care of. We're not going to teach our sons to be whoremongers and to just sleep around with women to have a good time. It's right here in these scriptures. All right? And keep going.
Come. And shalt talk of them when thou sittest in thy house.
Make this a regular conversation. Make it a regular conversation in your house, man. Make it a regular conversation. Because it's real hard. It's real hard when they go out into the world and your kids are going to school and they're learning from another adult. And they're learning from other children that are just so impressionable and have so much influence. It's real hard then. That's what we have to do. We have to teach our children things, man. I think the I.S.U.P.K, because I learned pointers on how to raise my son. You understand? Like I learned that even when I had to when I had to give my son a bath, I kept telling him, I said, all right, I'm doing this now, but you're gonna be watching yourself. Daddy can't see you. Mommy can't see your private parts. And he understands that. So now as he gets older, nobody's gonna look at my son the wrong kind of way. My son is not gonna put himself, he's not gonna be in the predicament where somebody might try to molest him. You understand?
Right.
It's those little trinkets that can go a long way. And if I had a daughter, I'd tell her the same thing. My wife would tell her the same thing. We have to make the law, statutes, and commandments a regular conversation in our house. It has to be that way. Just like the Ku Klux Klan makes it a regular conversation in their house on how much they hate niggas, spics, and redskins. You understand? That's a regular conversation in their house. And you can tell because what happens when there's like a little situation with a Karen or Steve, and all of a sudden they want to use a racial slur. Right? They use a racial slur out there. And they just, I just said it one time. Well, now if you're going to use it in this situation, what would you do when you're by yourself? Your oppressor is being trained too. Your oppressor is being trained to hate you and being trained to dominate you. And guess what? He's using your book to do it. He's using your book to do it, man. But our people, our children, we're being taught to love our oppressor. We've been taught that as children to love our oppressor no matter what. We're taught that our oppressor, our God looks just like our oppressor. Our God looks just like the people who hung our grandfathers and raped our grandmothers. and burned our farms, shipped us out like cargo on boats. That's what our God looks like. And because we love God, we gotta love our person too. You understand? That is a very hard thing to do, man. But we in I.S.U.P.K, the Commander in Yahanna, we're gonna do just that. And by brother, sister by sister, we're going to dismantle the stronghold of Christianity on our people, on this earth. Guess what? It's going to be a regular conversation. Every day, man. Keep going.
Come. And when thou walkest by the way, and when thou liest down, and when thou risest up.
Like I said, a regular conversation, man. Every day, man. Every day. When you get up in the morning, when you go about your day, when you go to bed, it's a regular conversation that you are supposed to love blacks, Hispanics, Native Indians. It's a regular conversation that we have to keep the Sabbath, keep the feast days, love our brother, love our sister, only eat certain foods. This is a regular conversation, man. That the Most High is black, that Christ is black. It's a regular conversation, man. Keep going.
Thou shalt bind them for a sign upon thy hand, and thou shalt be as frontlets between thy eyes.
Put it in your mind. Put it in your mind, man. Like we said, we keep saying this, man. It's a regular conversation, and the scriptures are proving this. The scriptures are showing us how we're supposed to raise our children. The scriptures are showing us how we're supposed to be for our Most High Father, for the Most High power. This is how we're supposed to be for Him too. It's supposed to be in our minds, man, in our heads, to follow these laws, statutes, and commandments, man. This is what we're being taught, and this is what we're supposed to teach our children. Keep going.
And thou shalt write them upon the posts of thy house, and on thy gates.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's supposed to, like we said, regular conversation. Regular conversation, man. It's supposed to be in your minds. And it's supposed to, and how do you say it? It said, write them upon the posts of thy house and on thy gates. And then your teachings should be able to show on your outward appearance as well. Because we've been taught this, the earth should be able to tell our life by how we dress. For instance, this for the most recent Passover, we were down in Cocoa Beach, and you know the joke is how we're like the only Cocoa in Cocoa Beach. All right. So now we're actually, I'm on the beach with my family and some friends, and I look around and I see how all these people are walking around practically naked. I see the ladies in bras and underwear. I see men walking around with no shirts, just shorts on. These people are walking around practically naked. But then I see some more people who look like me, and they're overdressed for the beach, just like me. They have hats, they have on shirts and shorts, and some people even had on pants. They were overdressed for the beach, just like me. And when they saw me from a distance, they knew who I was and what I was about. And they came and they sat with us. And they was like, hey, Yahabashim Shabrakatah, Shalom, Lord in Christ, brother. Shalom, Lord in Christ, sis. I didn't know their names, but I knew who they were. Why? Because I could tell by the outward appearance. I could tell that they were keeping these laws, statutes, and commandments, man. This is what we have to do, man. As a matter of fact, let's go to a precept to help to back this up. Let's go to the Apocrypha. Let's go to the Apocrypha. Good. Let's go to Ecclesiasticus. Ecclesiasticus. Ecclesiasticus 26. Start me off at 10.
Ecclesiasticus 26 and 10.
Yes.
If thy daughter be shameless,
okay,
keep her in straightly.
All right, hold on. So now, if thy daughter be shameless, keep her in straightly. All right. Now this goes back to what about correcting. So like, I don't know why I'm so tongue tied today. Correcting behavior. Correct? Am I right? She's shameless. But we have to correct that. We have to correct. There we go. We have to correct her behavior. So now, keep her straightly, right? Let her know what she is doing is wrong. Baby girl, you can't dress like that. Baby girl, you can't walk like that. All right? Now keep on.
So I can keep her in straightly, lest she abuse herself through overmuch liberty.
Through overmuch liberty. Now that behavior is not corrected. The behavior is not corrected, and now because she has too much liberty, it's gonna be real hard to correct that. Well, you didn't tell her from a young age. Baby girl, you can't dress like this. You shouldn't dress like this, baby. But now, she dresses in skimpy clothes, tight jeans, small clothes that can't even fit her. And then what happens? She starts to advertise herself. She starts to promote herself in a negative light. But then as she's been doing this since she was a child, thinking that this is normal, this is the right way to do things. But then what happens? She doesn't understand why men look at her at a certain way. She doesn't understand why men look at her like a piece of meat. She can't understand why men don't respect her. And all she gets is negative vibes. You understand? Because she was not taught from a young age on how a woman, on how a lady is supposed to live, on how a lady is supposed to move. You understand? This is why we have so many issues now with our sisters, because they were not taught this. So now she's abused herself through overmuch liberty. All right. So now let's go to Ecclesiasticus 7:25. Let's see what happens when she abuses herself with overmuch liberty.
Ecclesiastes 7 verse 25. Marry thy daughter, and so shalt thou have performed a weighty matter.
Okay.
But give her to a man of understanding.
All right. So now, because she gave herself over to much liberty, this scripture right here is going to be very hard to fulfill. It's going to be very hard to fulfill. It's going to be very hard to marry this daughter. Right? It's going to be very hard. It's going to be very hard. And to give her to a man of understanding, a man of righteousness. You understand? A man who's going to see her, but like, hey, baby girl, like I'm seeing how you dress. I see how you dress. I hear how you talk to other men. You got too much liberty. You want to call yourself you want to call yourself queens. You want to say that women rule the world. Women run the world, right? That's what Beyonce said. So you wanna follow after that model. You understand? I hear how many men you slept with throughout your life. I hear about how many arguments you have. It's gonna be very hard to give a woman over to a righteous man. It's gonna be very hard, very hard. And why? Because she was not taught as a child how to move. She was not taught these laws, statutes, and commandments. You understand? And at the same time, for our men coming up as little boys, it's going to be very hard for them to trust a woman. It's going to be very hard to trust a woman because they also know what they have done. Coming up, they were taught that it's okay to be a whoremonger. It's okay to sleep with multiple women and leave them and not be a husband to them. And so that they can just go ahead and sleep with the next man. And now our men were pretty much taught to destroy our women. Our men were taught to destroy our women. That's what it was. Because they were not trained up under these law, statutes, and commandments. So now, because they weren't trained like this, because they've destroyed their own communities, what happens? Other nations can come in and destroy our communities as well. This is what our oppressor does. This oppressor watches what we do to each other. And then he tries to come in and wants to do the same thing. And then he will say, why? What's wrong? What's wrong with it? I see y'all doing it, right? You see how you always hear in our songs how we want to say, oh, I'm gonna kill a nigga, right? So then what does the oppressor do? The oppressor comes in and say, hey, I can sing that too. I can say it too. Why? What's wrong with that? Y'all do it. You understand? How our sisters fight each other. The oppressor comes in and says, hey, I can do it too. What's wrong? Y'all do it. Right? And then, not only does the oppressor say that, hey, I can do it too, he will show you. So now, when our brothers and sisters are killed by the police, what happens? The oppressor says, y'all got black on black crime. It's okay for me to do it. Don't you think? What about black on black crime? That's always his excuse. What about black on black crime? Because y'all don't follow your own book. So it's okay for me to kill you. Our people don't see a problem with that. We really have to come back to these law, statutes, and commandments. We have to. Right? So our Most High Power can come down and get us out of this oppression. Right? We have to, man. We have to come back. But also, we have to understand that we can't do it by ourselves. We can't do it by ourselves. Christianity teaches our people that it's all up to you. That it's just the individual. You understand? We always hear about some of the cliche lines when it comes to Christianity. It's that like when a sister won't follow after her man, the Christian church will tell that sister, oh, well, that man doesn't have a heaven or a hell he can put you in. You got to follow your own way. You gotta walk your own path. It's not about that, man. It's not about that. It's about brotherhood. We have to Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, we have to come together and we have to stick together. All right. I know. Officer Barack has heard this line, and many of you have heard this line too. The family that prays together stays together.
Right.
All right. But you just can't pray together to stay together. You have to work together. You have to work together. You actually have to come together too. You have to come together and you have to work together as well. And be there for each other. Correct each other when you're wrong. And take that correction too. Because that correction is given in the spirit of the Most High. That correction is given in the spirit of love. And it's tough love. Right? So we could let's go to 1 Timothy. Go to 1 Timothy 5:1. Let's go to 1 Timothy 5:1.
1 Timothy 5:1. Rebuke not an elder, but entreat him as a father.
Okay. So now rebuke not an elder, treat him as a father. So now, in our community, a lot of times we hear from, especially like from the kids. It's, you try to, like an adult will try to tell them something. Hey, Junior, don't do that. Don't run across the street like that. You might get hit by a car. What happened? Oh, you not my daddy. You not my mama. You can't tell me what to do. But the scriptures are showing us that we should come together and stay together, and they're showing us how to do it. Keep going.
And the younger men as brethren. Verse 2. The elder women as mothers.
The elder women as mothers. The younger men as brethren. So showing you that we're all family. We're all family. Just how when you walk down the street, hey, what's up, brother? What's up, bro? What's up, sis? What's going on? Or even how some of us when we talk with the older with the older ladies of the neighborhood. Hey, auntie, how you doing? What's up, aunt? To the older brothers. What's up, pops? Giving them that honor and giving them that respect, if you will. And showing them that love. All right? Because we're all family, and we're all here. We should all be here to help each other. All right? This is not the crab in the bucket. It's not the crab in the bucket, man. Don't believe that. That's what our person wants us to be. Our person wants us to be the crab in the bucket. Animals just trying to get out, but won't let the next man get out. No, man, we're gonna help each other. We're all gonna get out together. That's what we gotta do. All right, keep going.
The younger as sisters.
The younger as sisters. That's right.
With all purity.
With all purity. How we said earlier, man. Let baby girl know, man. Baby girl, you can't dress like that. Baby girl, you can't talk like that. Baby girl, don't be sitting with all these brothers right now, man. Why don't you go sit with the ladies? Go sit with the ladies for a little bit, brother. Go sit with the men. Let's go do some manly things for a little bit. You understand? Purity. Trying to keep that innocence. You understand? All right. You keep going.
Verse 3, honor widows that are widows indeed.
That's right.
Verse 4, but if any widow have children or nephews, let them learn first to show piety at home.
Piety at home, that's right.
And to requite their parents, for that is good and acceptable before the Most High.
It's good and acceptable for the Most High. All these people that we just read these scriptures, you have seen in your community. You saw the elder man, the younger man, the older lady, the sister. You've even met some widows, right? And some brothers you got nephews, we got cousins. We're all family. All family, man. And it starts, you know how it's just said how charity starts at home. Here we got piety starts at home. Let's look at it. Let's look that up real quick. What is piety? Let's look that up. What is piety? Look at that. You got that for me?
1 Timothy 5 and 4, piety.
All right, no sweat, I got it. The definition?
I got something too, but it don't matter.
No sweat. I'll read it real quick.
Come.
So piety, reverence for the Most High, or devout fulfillment of religious obligations. All right. So did I read that part again? Let them what?
Let them learn first to show piety at home.
Piety. Let them first show piety at home, and we just read that piety is reverence for God and devout fulfillment of religious obligations. Dutiful respect or regard for parents. All right, you understand? That's what it's for. And how do we show piety at home? How do we show it, Officer Barack?
At home?
Yeah,
honoring your mother and father?
In the building. Honor your mother and father. And that honor mother and father is what? It's talking like when they get older. Help them out, look out for them, right? But also we can honor them at home by following their instructions, right? Follow after what they've taught us, their teachings. And what should their teachings include? Their teachings should include these scriptures. Their teachings should include the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High. So that they can be what? Good and acceptable before the Most High. That's what it's about. So you see, we're all family. This scripture here also is showing you how it takes a family. It takes a village to raise children. Okay? But now, what can happen? What can happen when we don't do this? What can happen? Let's go to verse 8.
But if any provide not for his own, and specifically for those of his own house,
and for those of his own house. For those of his own house. So for brothers who are not involved in their son's life, sisters who aren't raising their daughters right, if you are not providing for your own house, if you are not teaching him the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High, what can happen?
he hath denied the faith.
He has denied the faith. You have denied the faith. And what else?
And is worse than an infidel.
And worse than an infidel. You have denied the faith. You have denied the Most High. You have denied the Most High. If you are not teaching your children about the foods that they should not eat because the Most High said it, you are denying the faith. If you are not correcting your son when he wants to wear makeup and high heel shoes like his mother, you are denying the faith. You understand? If you are not teaching your daughter on how she is supposed to be humble and submissive to her husband, starting with her father and not having an attitude, and also teaching her how she is supposed to dress, how she's supposed to be moderate and modest, you are denying the faith. And when you deny the faith, you are worse than the infidel. And when you deny the faith, when you deny the Most High, the enemy comes in like a flood. And when you wake up, you are in oppression. And when you go to sleep, you are in oppression. And you will continue to be in oppression because you have not followed after the law, statutes, and commandments. That's why we're here now. What if we were taught? What if we were taught that blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians could be on top? They could be on top. They could be the ruling class if they just followed after these scriptures. They just follow after these scriptures like this, man. What if we were taught that and say, yo, man, hey, if you want to be on top, man, this is all you gotta do right here. That's all you gotta do. Because now our children can fall for the okie doke when it comes to selling drugs, right? Hey man, just move this weight right here for me. Just sell this, man. You can be on top, man. You can make a whole lot of money, man. You can do it. They fall for that because of the poverty that they're in, because of the hell that they're going through, the struggles. You know, I know our oppressors don't know what it's like not knowing where your next meal is going to come from. Our oppressors don't know what it's like to have your heat turned off in the wintertime and having to find a blanket in and use your body heat just to make it through the night. Our oppressors don't know about that. Our oppressors don't know about the hell we go through. They don't care. But the Most High does, man. And the Most High does not want to see you like that. The Most High doesn't want to see you like that, man. The Most High wants to see you in righteousness and in rulership, man. But you have to follow after what He says, man. You can't follow after your own plan, man. That's what Creflo Dollar will tell you. Creflo Dollar will tell you that, oh yeah, God wants you to be rich. God wants you to prosper. All you gotta do is make up your plan on what you want to do. He doesn't say anything about following the laws, statutes, and commandments. Matter of fact, He says that God wants you to break the law, statutes, and commandments. Make it make sense, man. Make it make sense. We can't do that. All right. Let's continue on. Let's go to Titus. Let's go to Titus, chapter 2, verse 1.
Titus 2 verse 1, but speak thou the things which become sound doctrine.
Okay, I like that. Speak thou the things that become sound doctrine, man. Make it make sense, man. Make it make sense, man. Sound doctrine, man. These laws, statutes, and commandments, man. What else?
That the aged men be sober,
Uh-huh.
grave, temperate, sound in the faith, in charity, in patience.
Okay. Now, all these are just good qualities to have, man. Be sober, man. Be able to make sound decisions, man. Think with a clear head. It's all right to drink, but let's be modest. Let's be moderate about it, man. Be grave. Be temperate, man. Slow to wrath, man. Be sound in faith and in charity, man. In patience. Have love for your brother. Have love for your sister, man. Understand, man, that y'all might not be going through the exact problems, man, but y'all are in a similar boat, man. You're all struggling together. The bottom line, you're struggling together, man. Just understand that, man. So deal wisely with your brother and sister. Help them, man. Correct their behavior when it's needed, man. But in the spirit of love, man. Okay, keep going.
That verse 3.
Mm-hmm.
The aged woman likewise, that they be in behavior,
okay,
as becoming holiness.
All right.
Not false accusers.
So holiness, being separate, being set apart, different from the rest of this society, this evil society. Not false accusers. All right. Not false accusers. That's real heavy right there, man. Because what do our little girls learn, man? That they want to get their way. They gotta lie. They gotta have to lie to get what they want, man. Right?
Right.
We can't have that, man. The scriptures are proving that is not the way to go, man. These scriptures are proving are showing us how we're supposed to train up our children and how the Most High wants us to be for Him. Keep going.
Not false accusers. Not given to too much wine.
That's right. We talked about that several times. Keep going.
Teachers of good things.
Teachers of good things, man. Teachers of good things. What's some good things, man? These law, statutes, and commandments, man. What's a good thing to teach a son, man? Be strong, be masculine. What you want to teach your daughter, man? Be feminine. Be soft, be sweet, be kind, man. Come on, man. You don't have to, how we said earlier, baby girl, you don't have to dress like that. Son, don't move like that. Talk strong, son. Son, you want people to respect you, look them in the eyes when they talking to you. Good things. Right? So that they can achieve good things as well. Keep going.
That they may teach the young women to be sober.
All right.
To love their husbands.
Okay.
To love their children.
And to love their children. To be sober, love their husbands, and to love their children. This is what we have to do. And this is how you see. It's going to take a village. We can't do these things by ourselves. Brothers gotta help brothers. Sisters gotta help sisters. Brothers can help the sisters as well. You understand? The scriptures are telling you, the scriptures are showing you what to do. All we have to do is read this book, and we have to just follow it, man. Right? Teaching the women to love their husbands. If our sisters were taught early, from an early age, that they are to submit to their husbands, to not try to be individuals. This is interesting. Some things that young girls are taught from a young age is to have a separate bank account from their husband. Have a separate bank account that he doesn't know anything about. So just in case if things go bad, you got something to fall on. So already our sisters are taught to not submit and also to not trust their husband. They are taught mistrust. And now when they're taught mistrust, what happens to the marriage? The marriage falls apart. The marriage is broken. All because of something that they were taught as a child. And it's hard to correct as an adult. Right? Keep going.
To love their husbands. To love their children.
That's right. And to love their children, man. To love their children. And this is interesting as well. Because, currently, we just came over, we just had the Roe versus Wade. So now we're hearing about, how the women want to have quote unquote safe abortions. They want to be able to, kill the fetus, kill the little baby that has not come to full term in their bodies yet, because they want to, they want to keep their career. They don't want to necessarily be with a person that they just slept with. They want to keep their figure because they're mad at somebody, or they also claim to be raped. You understand? But now, if we're taught from an early age, trained up the way they should go, love your children as well. Love that child, man. If you don't want to love that child, give it to somebody who can, man. Give it to the I.S.U.P.K, man.
What?
Give the child to Commander Yahanna, man. And Commander Yahanna will raise that child the way they should go, and to be good and acceptable before the Most High. All right. Let's keep going.
Verse 5, to be discreet.
That's right. Be discreet, man. Be discreet, man. Our brothers and sisters, man, cannot have learned to not be discreet, man. To not be sober-minded, man. And because of that, they do not get respect from other nations, man. Other nations feel that they can just can walk right over them, man, because they don't have discretion, man. They don't have discretion, man. They just want to go ahead and sound right off, man. They get so upset with things don't go right, and the oppressor just takes advantage of that. He takes advantage of the arguments that you have with your brother and with your sister. He takes advantage of the fights. They say, like, when there's blood, buy property. And that's what he does. He just waits. He puts little things out there and just waits. And then he comes and wants to take over your land and will push you out. Because you're just gonna fight amongst each other. That's all y'all want to do. I'll just push y'all over there then. How about that? Keep fighting each other. And let me have this promised land. Let me have your generational wealth. You understand? Keep going.
Chaste.
All right.
Keepers at home.
That's right.
Good. Obedient to their own husbands.
Or to their own husbands. That's right, man. Come on.
That the word of Most High be not blasphemed.
That the word of the Most High be not blasphemed, man. Be to no avail, man. How about that blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians move in such a way that the other nations can't say anything about us and cannot say anything bad about the Most High, man. That they can't say anything, man. But instead, these other nations will try to come in and say that they're saving us and not the Most High. They want to take the place of the Most High in our lives. And we on the I.S.U.P.K and the Commander Yahanna, we're not going to let that happen. We're not going to let the oppressor take the Most High's place in our lives anymore. He's not going to take the seat. He's not going to take the throne, man, from blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. That's what the oppressor wants. The oppressor wants to be your God. That's what he wants. He wants to be your God, man. And you can see how he wants to be your God because he's already trying to play God by saying that he can switch. He can have people switch their genders. If you're not satisfied with being a boy, hey, he can turn you into a girl. You want to be a girl anymore? He can make you a man. He's trying to play God. He's trying to be your God. He is trying to create things. That's what the oppressor is trying to do. But again, if our people were trained and taught these scriptures as children from a young age, the oppressor would not have the power that he has right now over this earth and in this society. All right? Okay, and let's go to our last scripture. Let's go to Matthew. Let's go to Matthew, chapter 18. Let's go to Matthew chapter 18. Real quick, like. Let's go to Matthew chapter 18. All right. Taking us back to how we should be trained up as children, and how we are children to the Most High. He is our Father. How the Most High sees us. How we are in the eyes of the Most High, man. How precious we are to the Most High, man. If you understand that, man, in these scriptures, man. All right. Keep going. Let's get that.
Matthew 18
and 1. Something at verse 1.
18 verse 1.
Uh-huh.
At the same time came the disciples unto Yahushua, saying, who is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven?
All right. Who is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven, man? So many people want to know that, man. So many people have those kind of questions, man. But Yahushua is going to answer that for them. He's going to answer that for these people, for the naysayers, for the doubters, for the disbelievers, for the non-believers. Keep going.
And Yahushua called a little child unto him and set him in the midst of them.
All right.
Verse 3, it said, Verily I say unto you, except ye be converted.
So you be what?
Ye be converted.
Uh-huh.
And become as little children.
Become as what?
Little children.
Uh-huh.
Ye shall not enter into the kingdom of heaven.
Okay. So now this is interesting, because except you be converted and become as little children, you cannot enter to the kingdom of heaven. And now, do you know that Christians, especially preachers, have a very hard time with this scripture? Have a very hard time because, they went to seminar school. They went to what is it called? Theology school. They were taught how to run a church. They were taught how to preach and how to give off the word of the Lord and draw a crowd. They were taught these things, right? So now you can't have a preacher try to come into the truth and it said be converted and become as a little child. Become as a little child. So now that preacher has to be retrained all over again. He has a lot of growing up to do. All right. As a child, what did we say earlier? Is in the heart of a child what? Foolishness, right? Foolishness. So now, preacher comes in. The preacher now has to convert and admit that he knows nothing. He has to admit that he knows nothing, and everything that he's been taught is a lie. And he has to start all over. But the preacher's not going to do that. Christian preachers not going to want to do that. They don't want to give up their status. They don't want to give up the money they can make. They don't want to give up all they don't want to give up all the suckers. I mean, the saints in their church. They won't give that up. They won't give up that status. But this is what our King Yahushua says, that our people have to come as little children, so that they can be trained up. All right. Verse 4.
Verse 4.
Uh-huh.
Whosoever therefore shall humble himself.
What?
Whoever therefore shall humble himself.
Humble yourself. That's what we have to do. That's what we have to do. We have to humble ourselves. We saw one of our first scriptures was train up a child the way that he should go. We have to be as little children. And in order to be as a little child before our King and before the Most High, we have to humble ourselves. Humble ourselves. We have to be open to learning all over again. We have to relearn these scriptures. The things that we were taught about these scriptures, about how we have to love everybody. No, we have to be re-taught that. This, looking over the scriptures, how we thought we could just eat everything we wanted to eat, as long as we prayed over it. No, we have to be re-taught that. We have to be re-taught everything when it comes to Christ and the Most High, man. We have to humble ourselves. And if we learn that these laws could help our nation, could save us, and not save everybody. We have to learn that these scriptures aren't to save everybody. We have to relearn this all over again, man. Keep going.
Whoever therefore shall humble himself as this little child, the same is greatest in the kingdom of heaven.
Same is greatest in the kingdom of heaven. If we could just do that, humble ourselves before the Most High, we can be great in the kingdom of heaven. And we can get out of this captivity, man. That's what we have to do. That's what we got to do. But a lot of times it's going to be very hard to do that. It's going to be very hard because Let's go to Proverbs. That's gonna be our last scripture. Let's go to Proverbs 14:3. We're seeing how we have to humble ourselves. Have to be as little children. We have to be open and willing to be trained up and relearn everything we were taught. We have to relearn everything that came from the oppressor. You understand? And we have to remove the oppressor from that seat in our minds. Remove him from that seat he has over our spirits. Because he's trying to rule over us. But we should be ruling over him. But like we said, it's going to be very hard because our people won't humble themselves. And here's the reason why they won't humble themselves. Man. Proverbs 14:3.
In the mouth of the foolish is a rod of pride.
In the mouth of the foolish is a rod of pride. Because of that tongue. That tongue, man. They are so foolish, man, and they are so prideful. So prideful. Like that's why our so-called leaders right now have us in this predicament. Because they are so full of pride. They're so full of pride, man. If people remember Martin Luther King, there's an article that said that he told Harry Belafonte that he felt that he led our people into a burning house. But guess what? His pride took us in a different direction. Because of his pride and his wants, we now don't have our own businesses. You understand? Because of the pride of our leaders, we lost affluent places such as Black Wall Street and others throughout the United States. In Atlanta, Florida, Philly, Texas, and California, we lost those places, man, because we listened to the mouth of the foolish, who have a rod of pride, who have that tongue of pride in their mouth, man. You understand? But keep going.
But the lips of the wise
The
shall...
lips of the who?
The lips of the wise.
The who?
The wise.
Commander General Yahanna.
The wise.
General Mahayim.
The wise.
General Mayak.
The wise.
Kathanga Bar. General Q. General Shawarmar.
The wise.
The wise, man. Listening to these leaders under Commander Yahanna, the I.S.U.P.K, the lips of the wise, trying to help blacks, Hispanics, Native Indians get out of oppression and come back to the Most High and have rulership over this earth, shall what?
Shall preserve them.
Absolutely. But the lips of the wise shall preserve them. Follow these laws, statutes, and commandments. Come into the I.S.U.P.K, the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge under Commander General Yahanna, started out on 1 West 105th Street, Harlem, New York, since 1969. Follow these laws, statutes, and commandments, man, and we can get out of this captivity. We can get out of this captivity, man, and we can have rulership. With that, we'll pass the class off to preaching officer, Rock Yahanna.
I.S.U.P.K security announcements. We are the I.S.U.P.K, started on 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York. Rule for a new brother and sister. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They'll be saluted only. They're here to shed themselves of the word. They need transportation. The teacher will arrange it after 6 months. If a brother or sister have an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There is also another 6 months in which a brother and sister will court each other. After this 6 month period, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is commandment, comes out of Numbers 18:21. Also Malachi 3:8 through 10 means 10th in the Hebrew, pronounced ma'ashra. 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you, give to the treasury department or teacher. There's also a priest fund, a free will offering for the priest, not mandatory, whatsoever amount you will like. Next upcoming holy convocation is the Feast of the first fruits. It's happening
Now,
June 12th. According to Leviticus 23:10 through 22. Any brothers that want to join the school, start prospecting, become a trooper, start wearing all blacks. That includes boots, shirt, pants, headband, scarf. Get with one of the officers, other troopers to find out our camp times and also a location of the camp. And with that, Amijah, we're going to give a courtesy salute to the teacher, Israel. Amijah Shabbat, Amijah, Barak, Yahweh Hashem, Yahweh Shabbat.
y'all about to make a thumb.
Hands down.
What we say this in Hebrew?
What we say to you, the Most High bless you. In Christ's name.
Mm-hmm.
Hands down. Class dismissed.